Configuring a bootable backup with ChronoSync is, in many ways, simpler than creating a standard data backup. Before getting started with ChronoSync, however, some preparation of the hard drive that will become your bootable backup is necessary. Drive preparation begins with connecting your destination hard drive and launching the Disk Utility application. From Launchpad, this can be found in the Other application group. When Disk Utility starts up, it scans all connected disks and presents them in the sidebar. You should click the destination drive in the sidebar and examine the Partition Map property. It should be set to GUID Partition Map. If it is correct, click the destination volume in the sidebar and examine the file system format. It should be some variation of Mac OS Extended. If either of these conditions is not met, you will have to erase and reformat the hard drive. You do this by selecting the destination drive in the sidebar and clicking Erase in the toolbar. Type an appropriate volume name, then make sure the format is Mac OS Extended Journal and the partition scheme is GUID Partition Map. Then click Erase. After a short while, the formatting will be complete. You will then be asked if you want to use this drive for Time Machine backups. You should click Don't Use. Your destination drive has been prepped, and you're now ready to continue. In ChronoSync, you must create a synchronizer document that will perform the bootable backup task. You do this by clicking Create a new synchronizer document in the Document Organizer window. When the new document window appears, you should supply a meaningful name, such as My Bootable Backup. The next step is to change the operation to bootable. The direction you choose is merely a matter of personal preference. We recommend matching your physical setup. For example, if your hard drive is physically on the right side of your computer, a left-to-right selection is the logical choice. Upon choosing the operation, ChronoSync will ask for administrator credentials. After the selection has been made, you will need to designate your source and destination targets. ChronoSync sets both targets to your primary boot drive, so your source target is already set for you. To set the destination target, simply click the Choose button. Select the volume that you prepped at the beginning of this tutorial. At this point, configuration is complete. All that is left is to run your bootable backup by clicking the big arrow button at the center of the window. Depending on how much data is stored on your boot drive and how fast your system is, your initial bootable backup may take a long time to run. It is not uncommon to wait a few hours for it to finish. Now is a good time to do something else, but check on it periodically to see if the backup is done. It is very important to test your first bootable backup to make sure everything functions correctly. To do this, hold the Option key down on your keyboard and invoke the Restart command from the System menu. Continue holding the Option key down until the Startup Manager appears. From here, you double-click the bootable backup drive and your computer will start up from it. It may be a little slower than normal because your external drive is probably not as fast as your internal drive. Once the system is booted, Finder should appear just as it normally would. You will see a message from ChronoSync stating the background scheduler has been disabled. This is completely normal. At this point, you really don't need to do anything else. If you reached Finder, your bootable backup is functioning properly. Go ahead and restart your system again so it boots from your internal drive. Now that your bootable backup has been configured, you should run it regularly. The simplest way to do this is to manually invoke it from the Document Organizer window. Just right-click or Option-click your bootable backup sync document and select Open and Synchronize from the pop-up menu. You will have to authenticate with administrator credentials, and then the bootable backup will begin running. Subsequent bootable backups run much faster than the initial run did. Another possibility is to schedule your bootable backup to run automatically. You can do this from the document organizer by right-clicking your bootable backup sync document and selecting Schedule from the pop-up menu. In this example, we are setting up the schedule to run every Friday at 4 p.m. We're also naming the scheduled task Weekly Bootable Backup. Scheduling a bootable backup is not something we recommend, however, at least not without some human intervention. If you just applied an OS update or installed some other software, you should always make sure that the system is stable before running a bootable backup again. Otherwise, you won't be able to revert to your previous bootable backup if your software update caused problems. For this reason, we recommend enabling the Prompt User Before Running setting. With this setting on, you will be prompted whenever the scheduled bootable backup task comes due. If you just applied a software update and have not confirmed that your system is in a stable state, you can answer Skip and wait for the next scheduled run. Or you can click OK and the backup will run in the background. A system notification will let you know when the backup is complete. This concludes part 1 of our tutorial on creating and running bootable backups. We've only just touched the surface of the capabilities that ChronoSync has to offer. Be sure to check out part 2, which presents several configuration options that you may want to consider.